Alright guys, here we are, back in my little workshop with another episode of Cleaning Your Gun. Today, we are going to do the Glock. The Glock. Lots of people like them, lots of people hate them. I don't know what to say. They got their pros and their cons. I mean, I'm not going to say they're the best pistol in the world. Lots of people might say, lots of people might say they're the absolute worst thing in the world. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm not worried about it. I'm here to show you how to clean it. So, I have, specifically, a Glock 19, but I also have what would technically be called a Glock clone. So, this is a Shadow Systems MR920. They're basically all the same. I'm going to field strip the Glock 19. All the Glocks are pretty much the same. Some are just bigger than others. But know that the Glock clones are very, very, very close. There's not a whole lot of difference. So, let's get the table set up and let's start breaking them down. Alright guys, here we are. We're all set up, ready to do this. So, like I said, I specifically have the Glock 19. The Glock 19 is the subcompact 9mm. Now, I'm not going to say I know everything about Glocks. I don't know all the numbers. I don't know all that. I do know the 9mm ones are the 26 is the compact, the 19 is the subcompact, the 17 is the full size, and then even 43 and 43X are like the super subcompact, or however it is you want to process those. Nonetheless, all of them are traditionally about the same. So, I'm going to show you what I have available, which is the Glock 19. So, super easy. We've dropped the magazine, no magazine. We've opened the chamber. We see nothing in the chamber. We're all good to go. So, we're going to close that. Now, this is a really, really easy one to get apart. You pull it back just a little bit, and then you've got these little knobs. They're actually on both sides. You press both of them down. Once they're both depressed, you can let that go. And you're going to start to pull forward, but you got to pull the trigger to release it over the top of the trigger bar. And then it literally slides right off. And that's what you're left with. So here you've got the lower. Well, here in a minute we'll go through. We'll clean all in here and make it all look nice and pretty. But then we're going to break this down. Super, super easy. Your recoil spring comes out. Your barrel drops down and your barrel drops out. It is that easy. We are done. We have successfully field stripped a Glock. Now, that being said, I've got my MR920 sitting over here, and just so you're aware, you can break them down further. So, you see I've already pulled off the plate to this one, so you've got the rear plate back here. So, right in here is the firing pin. I've pulled this one out of the MR920. This is all it looks like. This breaks down further, but for the sake of cleaning, you don't need to, because the spring comes apart, this pulls apart, and it also, yeah, you can clean everything you need to clean right here. Alright, so like I've said, they've got the firing pin, it's this right here. I just wanted to show you what it was, but I will show you how to take this apart. So, right underneath this little piece right here is this sleeve, right there. You're going to use a small screwdriver, press down on the little sleeve, whoops, there goes my spring. But you got to make sure you press down on it. I did not, and I apologize. And then you're just going to push this out. And there it is. So, the next thing that would come out will be your firing pin safety, is what that is. Sometimes you just got to loosen it just a little bit if you press on the ejector. So, your firing pin safety will come out. And then your ejector rod. And then the ejector itself. So, and this is as far down as the Glock will break down. You should not have to do any more of this. Alright. As for processes goes, I don't really, nothing's changed between cleaning your pistol and cleaning a rifle. So, I will say I don't have any of my cleanse oil stuff, my cleanse all stuff. So, the only thing I'm going to use is just some light gun oil. And just because, like I said, just because I don't have it doesn't necessarily mean you have to run out and, or just because I have it doesn't mean you have to run out and get it. There we go. You can use just clean oil, and what that does is that helps break down some of the carbon and some of the oil on all your pieces, and then you just wipe them down again. Because all you're wanting to do when you clean this is get all that extra carbon and everything off of it. So, use some just plain gun oil. I just buy some cheap gun oil, and that's what I use to clean all my parts, or wipe them down at least. That's what I use to wipe down all my parts to get them clean. And then I go back with another clean rag, just make sure they are clean. This one may not have been as dirty as I thought it was. So, but this is all we're going to do, is just basically clean off all the surfaces. All the surfaces. There's that. I can get a Q-tip, get down in there. Yep, that was kind of nasty. But so everything's wiped off. Now, as for cleaning barrels, again, the process is not any different. I'm going to take my brass bristled brush and I'm going to run it through. And that's just going to loosen all the stuff that's on there. And that's it. Run it through there several times. Then I'm going to take a patch. Need a relatively bigger one. Put a patch on here. Saturate it in oil. Yep, lots of oil. And I'm going to run it through there. I'm going to run it through there. And all I'm doing is putting a bunch of oil in that barrel to help start breaking down some of that carbon. Now that that's done, I'm going to take patches and I'm just going to push them through. And all that's doing is just picking up all that oil. Actually, that one didn't look bad. So again, this one's just cleaner than what I thought it was, but you're just going to keep pushing these through until all it comes out clean, which looking down at it looks clean. And in this one, I don't think I'm going to need to put any extra oil in it because I don't think this picked up as much oil as I wanted it to. Alright, and that's all there is to that. Barrels in pistols are super easy. So, now that I've got all that cleaned, now I'm going to go back with a clean rag and basically clean everything off again. Now I'm just getting basically the old oil that I put on earlier to help break things down. I'm just getting it off. That's all I'm doing. Everything got saturated in oil. Now I'm getting it cleaned up. And there it is. That's, in a nutshell, everything cleaned up. Now, let's start reassembly. So, I like using my little bit better gun oil. I used to use a mil-spec, but then I ran out and I don't have any more. So, I found this. I like it. It works. So, what we're going to do is we're going to very, very lightly coat any surfaces that are going to touch another metal surface. Oh, that's outside. It's this one. Alright. So this is my ejector. I'm going to drop it in just like that. And then the little safety pin goes there. And then this little fun one. You actually need to get a little bit of oil on it and coat the whole thing. And then that little spring sits on top of it like that. So you've got a flat end and you've got like a pointy end. Your spring goes on the pointy end. And then that drops down in there. Just like that. Now, let's put this backing plate back on there. I guess we could get the firing pin in first. That's going to touch a little bit of an area, and this plastic piece touches. So we're going to just lightly coat that in oil. Slide that in. Alright, so these right here are just a little bit of a pain in the butt. So the easiest way I found, get it started, push this one in. I get my screwdriver. Push the little plastic piece in and get it started, and then you can take this spring and then it should slide right over it, and then it clips into place. I'm going to help it out a little bit. There it is. It's all back in place. Now I got oil on my hands. It'll wipe all this off. Alright. Again, super easy. So far. Alright. That's all back together. That's all that. So, cleaning the lower. If you have the spray stuff, you spray it in there, you let it soak, you dry it out, all is well. Most of them are alcohol-based. I don't have oil, so the only other thing I can do is, or I don't have the spray stuff, is just basically clean off as much as you can. So, kind of the same idea, except for the fact that you're not going to be able to wipe it off too much, but just down in the little crevices, get you a little bit of oil and clean down in the crevices. Along the trigger bar and along the hammer release. And then go back through it and dry it all off really well. And then that one. While I'm at it, I'm also going to clean the inside of the magazine well. Oops, sorry guys. Alright. The down and dirty of the cleaning it. Now, reassembling it. We need a small dab of oil in the top and along the slide rails. Now, along the slide rails, because that's where it's going to contact the lower. Up here, the barrel's going to sit here, so we want just a small amount of oil just so it can slide along it. And then this little piece right here, you're going to have some where it slides along. So you just need to get a little bit of oil there. Then your barrel drops in here. Now, oil the recoil spring. Let it get a little bit down in there. In the front. Press it. And it all comes together looking like that. And then that's it. Function test. Moves freely. Trigger goes. Alright. It's all functioning. At this point, I'll take my some other clean cloth. I mean, I have a towel that I'm doing all this with. And I'm basically going to clean every bit of it off. Make sure there's no excess oil anywhere, anything that's come out, anything like that. And that is done. Now, I did want to make mention, again, Glock 19, MR 920, they do have their slight differences. And one big one that I've noticed, and again, this is just the MR 920, this is not all Glock clones, some of them are, again, still slightly different. When I pulled the firing pin out, there is no spring in the top of this. However, there's still full tension on the ejector. So, I haven't fully looked into this one because I haven't owned it a whole lot. I have not owned it a long time. There we go. So I don't know how this comes out. It would take me a little bit more research to figure this one out, to be honest. But again, same basic principle. You can pull the firing pin out. Next, the safety pin would come out, and the ejector would come out with it. And I'm assuming the pin's going to come out this way with it. So other than that, the MR920 is, again, very, very similar. It's a Glock clone, but there's just a few minute differences. But cleaning it's going to be all the same. So off camera, I'm going to get this one cleaned back and put back together, and then I'll be back to talk to you guys. All right, guys, this is going to do it for the Glock 19. So we've got it all field stripped, we've got it all cleaned and put back together. So one thing I did forget to mention, and I wished I'd done it while I had everything closer, is the clones versus the Glocks. Man, they're so close. I can actually take, like, the MR920, I can take its slides off and put it on the Glock lower frame. I can take the Glock up slides and put them on the MR920 lower. I mean, they are that compatible. They are basically identical. They're all going to function the same. Like I said, you put the different slides on there. You can build them however you want. They are a very, very customizable pistol, just like the AR-15. Very, very customizable. There's so many things you can do with it. But that being said, that's going to do it for me with the Glocks. Thank you for watching. If you would, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps our channel to grow. We did just recently pass 500, and we want to thank you so much. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.